brother-in-law Brett is here with me today, and he's gonna be making with me the chicken parmesan for beginners. This is so easy. Have you ever made chicken parmesan before?
No, I have not.
Okay.
I'm so excited.
Today is your day. And I chose you because I know you like to cook meat.
I do.
Now, we're gonna start with a breading and like an egg batter. And what this will do is it will coat the chicken parmesan before we put it in the pan. Now, you might be thinking breading, that sounds a little bit advanced. It's literally a few ingredients. We have 3/4 cup of Parmesan cheese and 3/4 cup of almond flour or panko breadcrumbs. So that will make it crispy, crunchy on the outside, which is what we all want when we are eating chicken parmesan. Then we have a 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder, a 1/2 teaspoon of onion powder, and 1 teaspoon of Italian seasoning, and that's it. Then in my other bowl, I'm gonna just beat 2 eggs. Now, Brett, yes. I'm gonna have you pound out the chicken.
Perfect.
This stage is really fun in the cooking process because you get to get all your aggression out.
I get to use a hammer.
So we have a pound of chicken, or a little bit more than a pound. 3 breasts is great. And if you have a meat tenderizer or anything that looks like a hammer in your kitchen, then that's what you want.
Out to the garage and get mine.
I wouldn't recommend a real hammer because you will bust through the bag. We put it in a Ziploc bag to keep things kind of clean and keep it contained. And if you don't have a meat tenderizer, you can use a rolling pin. So all you do is you want to keep the chicken kind of all thin in the same size.
Same size, thin, got it.
Yep.
It's every guy's dream, right? Get a hammer and just pound away. Is there a certain thickness it needs to be? Is there anything?
So you just want it to be all the same size thickness. You don't want it to be so thin that it's falling apart.
Okay.
And then you also don't want it to be so thick that it's not gonna really cook
Takes a
through.
while to cook.
Yeah.
Has Sean ever made this?
Sean has never made this.
Yes, I have a 1-up on him.
Yes. Now, I gave you this job because you do grilling at home.
I do. I have my Traeger, my smoker.
Yes, so I know that you're experienced with kind of knowing when meat is cooked through, how to cook meat. If you're really unfamiliar with that, this recipe is a perfect way to start because you can just stick a meat thermometer in and you'll know it's done just by the temperature reading. You don't have to cut into it and all of that. So those look great. So we're ready to go, put them in our egg wash and then our breading. Okay, so we put our breaded chicken into a pan that was heated over medium-high heat. Now, for beginners, I would always say go with lower heat to start. So medium heat, medium-low heat if you feel more comfortable. And you can cook it for longer. That way you're not gonna burn your chicken. That's always a plus.
Don't want burnt chicken now.
And you wanna cook it for just a few minutes on each side, just until it gets browned. So if you're kind of wondering, when is that? So you just wanna lift up one side and just kind of peek at it. If you find that it's really sticking, then you'll wanna make sure that you have one of these spatulas on hand, and you can kind of get under there, under the meat, and lift it off of the pan rather than taking your tongs and flipping it. That will make sure that the breading stays on the chicken. And you also want to make sure you spray or grease your pan before you put the chicken in so that it doesn't stick. Now, if you get a little piece of the breading that kind of comes off as it's cooking, that's okay. You can just kind of pull it back on. No one will ever know. So Sean did cook for me one time, Brett. And
how was the cereal?
It was quite interesting. Emily was actually the one that helped him, and he made me, I want to say, a chicken and cauliflower dish, which, as you know, is very brave. I mean, chicken and cauliflower for your very first time cooking. So he called Emily about 10 times. And, you know, I was actually really nervous because I thought I could actually get sick if he did this all on his own, you know. But he assured me, you know, I called Emily, and every step of the way, you know,
that's funny.
She walked me through. But he actually didn't even eat it. It was all just for me, and it was really sweet. I still remember it. It was in the beginning of our marriage. So sometime you can make this for Emily. Now that you know how to do it.
Yes. Instead of throwing it on a grill, it's something different.
It's true, it is. It's a little more fancy, elegant. You can make some pasta. Is that too far?
That's too
the
advanced for me.
The pasta's
I'll
taking
just buy
it
the
as
box stuff for now.
Yes.
It's safer.
So you can take that marinara sauce, and that's just 1 jar of marinara sauce, and put it in the bottom of a baking pan. So
go for it.
Spread it all out, yep. And the nice thing is you don't have to grease that pan or anything because the sauce is kind of the bed for the chicken. So once you have the chicken slightly browned on each side, you can take it out of the pan and you can lay it right into the marinara sauce.
Yes.
The nice thing about this recipe is the chicken doesn't have to be cooked through in the pan. It's all done in the oven. So this step right here is really just to brown the chicken.
Get it crispy,
Yep.
get that crispiness going.
Yep, which is so important when you have a breading. You want to have a nice crispy breading. You don't want it to be soggy on the outside. So that's why we use the saute pan.
Nice.
And if you make this as a beginner, you are sure to impress anybody because you can say, I made chicken Parmesan all by myself. So then, Brett, you can top it with some shredded cheese just over all the chicken, and that will kind of just soak into the chicken, and then the sauce will kind of bubble up over the chicken, so it will be tender and crispy on the outside, so really delicious. And then we're gonna bake this 400 degrees for 20 to 25 minutes. Get a meat thermometer, especially as a beginner. And you have one, I'm sure, for your Traeger.
I use it all the time because I don't want undercooked food and I don't want it to be overcooked because the chicken, if you overcook it, it's just dry, especially a white chicken breast like this, it's gonna get dry and it's just horrible.
So what do you want for chicken?
165 degrees.
There you go. And if it's a little over, it's okay, take it out. And if it's under, just by a little bit, take it out and it'll actually rise in the next few minutes out of the oven. So we'll put this in the oven and then we'll have Sean join me to make an Alfredo sauce.
Ooh.